Yo, what's up? This is the professor. I just came across the video of Kanye West saying he supports Trump. He's now speaking his mind like Trump, and he went off, and everybody's like, Kanye West is crazy, and I'm like, nah, Kanye West is not crazy. He just thinks too far. He's not afraid to speak his mind. We're all different, and we have to respect that. And especially in the West, being like this, not being able to express yourself, and when you think low of yourself, then that's normal. Like low vibration, junk food, this, all that is normal. Like I grew up in a village, like everybody's vibration is so high that people can hear the spirits, the ghosts, and because of the food, people are connected to nature. I remember as a kid, I used to even look up and see clouds turning into people walking in the sky. Like, really, that's how. And people believe in spirits and everything because they are connected to it. They are connected to nature, right? But here in the West, that's all put in mental illness. It's not actually things like people say Kanye West has bipolar. They're just trying to use his past against him, right? If Trump had a mental illness background, they would say he's crazy. But Trump luckily doesn't have that, right? The thing is, I just say he didn't have enough sleep because people like Kanye West understand how the brain, everything works. They're so deep into the occult or other people. It means occult means secret, right? They scare the average person about that word, but because they work so hard and they sometimes sleep less, and that they know if they do that, their brain goes so far, and they're in a very confident position that they can really speak their mind in that state, or just being on stage with all those people, you become really high. If I get invited just to speak on stage, I get really high because I have the same background. I got treated for bipolar, and it's a, like in the African culture, is the most accurate. It's a spiritual thing. My brain could connect with the sun, everything. You see things, and especially when someone's in their mania, they can see spirits and everything. And I saw his videos, some of his videos, the ghosts that he puts are exactly the ghosts I was seeing when I was manic. So that's why it's so creative. So after a good treatment, their brain will even go higher than someone who is mentally ill. So they call it mental illness. They don't want to associate it with spiritual, anything spiritual. 400 years ago, they said mental illness is not linked to anything spiritual. That's to keep the public in a low vibration, so people don't investigate and think that they are more than this body. They are just a bunch of chemicals. The body is not God, but the spirit is God. And people like Kanye West understand that. You know what I mean? He called himself God. We are little gods, and even Jesus was asked in the Bible, like I said in some of my previous videos, just asked why they call yourself the Son of God. Jesus said, don't you read in Proverbs, is written, we are gods, not the body is not God, but our spirit is. Some people will find that out when they are dead, that they are connected to everything, so, and some people have found out a way how to do that when they're still alive, and those are the creative people. And so life is what you choose to be. If you just choose to be an earthly person, you just want to watch TV. And I think people don't like Kanye West because he's breaking the illusion. Like people want things to be real. Their words are all structured and they're all rigged. People who pay money get them. If a weak artist that's, they will choose the artists that are weak. Like 50 Cent couldn't even get when he came out, he was really big. He couldn't get the best new artist. I don't know, something like that. Someone who was shot 9 times and then he bounces back and he becomes on, and then he's on top of the charts after being shot 9 times and he can't get the best new artist. Then when the awards are rigged, radio spins. Even I remember I used to work here in Australia somewhere, and they play the same stuff over and over again, and everybody was even, like everybody felt like breaking the radio that people were listening to. And I used to work in somewhere. When I used to work in a place here in Australia, the radio were just playing the same songs, and everybody noticed it. People were just getting bored in my workplace, and 50% used to say about that too. The radio, the TV, everything is programmed. The only thing that is not programmed is nature, is the infinite universe. That's the only thing that's not programmed. but everything is now getting polluted. So it's when you put what out there and they know you have spoken your mind out there, they're a bit more scared. That's why Kanye West had to speak his mind. He knows he was gonna get locked up. He could see it coming, you know what I mean? He knew if he was to speak his mind to that level, he was gonna get locked up. So he just had to air it all out. So you can't be creative after you finish any kind of treatment and keep taking meds, you know? You gotta get off that stuff. And he just spoke his mind. The reason why Kanye West was arrested was he spoke his mind and he exposed the system. And people who really think Kanye West is crazy don't want to get away from that illusion. The average people, they're so programmed that they want to believe that everything is real that they watch, and it's all not, it's a business, you know? So you don't have to really even be a big superstar to know it. If you really have an open mind, if you're enlightened, you can look through the nonsense and realize it. So Kanye West is not crazy, he's very creative, you know, he likes fine art. He's just a very creative person, you know. I just speak because I can relate. I'm not comparing myself, but he's not perfect, but I'm not comparing, but I got treated for bipolar too. He's spiritual. That's why in Africa people who have mental illnesses don't commit suicide, because they tell them it's a spiritual, your spirit is drunk, you're thinking too high. So when I have to express myself, and when I used to speak my mind, they used to think, oh, he's crazy again. And my brother was like, we should not agree what you say, it's normal. This is Professor, this is Elia, he speaks his mind. That's who he is. So he's not crazy. So after a good treatment, and I applaud Kanye West for not taking the meds. If you finish your treatment, don't take it. You don't have to take it, because your body is gonna be different, and you're gonna think very high. And if you keep taking the meds, you're gonna be a vegetable. If you just take a meds for no reason, you're gonna be a vegetable. You're not be as creative. And Kanye West understand that. That's why he's not taking his meds. Because when I used to take my meds, you just remember my old videos. I was a bit cranky, you know. But now I finished my treatment in a year. If you see the changes in my videos, because they took me off the meds. Kanye West is not crazy. His mind is open. He thinks very far. You know, when they want to use his mental illness background of bipolar against him, he's already treated, you know. He's just lacking enough sleep. All he needs to, maybe they will take him to, now you see he was locked up, you know, like, even a millionaire, you know, you see how the system is, because he's talking, exposing. Just because you talk against Beyonce and Jay-Z and all that, now you're crazy. Come on now. Jay-Z is not perfect. He's even known for not paying his friends, you know, so nobody's perfect. You don't know what's going behind closed doors. You know, he has his own beefs and stuff. He's expressing himself. He's promoting his artists. An album coming out. He canceled the tour. These people work so hard. They do a lot, and sometimes without enough sleep, you come out with the best ideas, because your brain can go very far. Even my dad told me that he was just meditating and his brain just went, and he's like, don't do that. And my sister's like, no, don't listen to them, you know, like, go as far as you can go. My sister's like, just keep going, you know, let your brain. And so his brain is far. He's a very creative person. He's very futuristic. He said Bush does not care about black people. That was his opinion. Bush collapsed the whole world economy. Come on, not just black people. He messed up the world for everyone. He messed up the whole world, you know, like, so it's futuristic talking, and he's speaking his mind. We have different opinions. That's why kids like Kanye West. Kids like him because he's open, you know. Kids are still have that connection, you know. They still have that creativity. They like bright colors and this. That's why people who get enlightened. They start liking bright things and colors and this. So life is what you make it. If it's just, you know, just this body and a bunch of chemicals, that's how far you'll go. You'll not investigate. And that's the thinking they put to the average person in the West, because people are trained to be workers, right? The top people know a lot, you know, about the occult and everything, and they don't want the people to wake up. People are not knowing it through the internet. But in places like Africa, people are so entrepreneurial. Why? Because they're so connected to nature. You know what I mean? They still have everything is organic. And in the village, there's no welfare, no nothing. You know, I mean, of course, it's a struggle, but people are very entrepreneurial. You know, there's no options here and there, but they're very entrepreneurial, and minds are open. Like especially when I was even in the city too. So when people are enlightened, they become so entrepreneurial, and they start to speak their mind. And in this Western world, when people speak their mind, when people think they are great, there are some figures in the West that they say, if you say you are them, like the Jesus and this, you're crazy. Nah, even Jesus said you can do the things I'm doing even great. You can do the things I'm doing even greater. We're all equal, you know. In other words, the kingdom of God is within you. We're all equal, you know. Just as we are just gifted in different areas. Other people think high, others think low. Others like handy jobs, others like different things, creativity. If he has gone too far, they're just gonna like, he can express himself and he should get his own doctors. But here in the Western world, there's more freedom in Africa. If someone is speaking his mind, they don't really lock him up, right? I mean, it's like, let him go and calm down. He can have options to get out or not. But you see how they're trying to treat him like some crazy person. He's not crazy. He's trying to open people's mind to just speak, expose the system and talk his mind. Like Obama was like this. He talked about Obama was right. Obama didn't really, his promise to black people, this, he did more for gays and maybe other women issues and stuff. Even for black people and other people too, he didn't really go in, like Trump kind of like was able to speak his mind. I mean, the second time Obama did not really, of course unemployment is 4.9%, but Obama would have done more, but he was playing it too safe, but would have done more. But he has done his best to bring the economy out of a recession. But he said the truth, Obama was just, what I mean. So I think the last thing I have to say is, an Australian lady said she went to Africa, and even poor people think they're kings and chiefs and all that. People give themselves name. I got the name professor from Africa, and I met a big government official from Africa, and I'm like, I'm professor, but it's just a nickname. It's like, no, you should keep that name, like people praise themselves, you know what I mean? They uplift themselves. That's the African culture. He's an African too, Kanye West. He has that blood, So, but in the West, like the lady, and I was a lady, like if someone say I'm nobody and this, then people are happy. Oh, he's humble. Being humble is knowing you're great and knowing other people are great. That's being humble. Knowing you're not the only. And when he said I'm great and we're all great, that when he's not crazy. Like when someone is always saying I'm the greatest person non-stop. But if they don't have a mental illness background, then they don't really say anything is wrong with them, right? So they're just using his background against him, and maybe he had bipolar in the past, now they want to, or he's just expressing his mind is crazy, or he's on drugs. Nobody knows. He's not perfect. Whatever I'm saying is that we're all different. We speak our mind. That's why kids like him, We should have all different opinions. We're not the same. You limit yourself according to how you think. And the word crazy in the West is used to limit people's thinking. Right? When you start to think for yourself, like the president of Uganda said, they don't want you to think. Even the Western governments don't want other countries to think. They want to be the one to give them rules. And so it's like they don't want you to think. When people start to think and create and start to think out of the box and think they're also great, like some big figures, whether it's in the Bible or whatever it is, then they say, no, you're not crazy, right? But even if you read all these great, the Da Vinci's and all that, I mean, they are just human beings like you and me, but they just know things you don't know. So the people like Kanye West, they are more exposed, and me coming from Africa, you're also exposed too, so if you think you're a god, you find out why, you investigate more, it puts you to think more, and you realize your spirit is, but the infinite universe is the biggest god, and when you find that connection, then you realize other people are more connected, others are not connected. Other people just want to have a normal life, watch TV, all that, relax, have a family, house, car, and that's it. But some people are given an art of just creativity and thinking high and creating and expanding, and like people say, if you inspire people to think more, create more, and think more of themselves, you're a leader. And Kanye West wants to be a leader. That's why he wants to give out these ideas to spark, So, and I had one of the best psychiatrists, she's like, doesn't matter how far you go as long as you can calm down. That's all that matters, but don't go too far. I'm already there. So he's gonna be put there, but he can defend himself. At that state, his reasoning is so high but they may just give him there's some medicines to eat to cool you down, but I think they will there's this guy used to follow this channel, Valuetainment. He pushed himself so far and he had to be admitted. So maybe has to cancel and calm down, get enough sleep, and they may give him drip, to calm down his pressure. And then after that, he'll be fine. He doesn't have to take medication, just calm him down. And, because of lack of sleep. And But people like Kanye West do that intentionally. They know their brain will go far, and then they express themselves. And actually, in that state, that's when you speak your mind. Even, but he wasn't manic at this stage, you know. Let me put that aside. But he wasn't. I don't see any mental illness in it. It's just thinking too high. And someone like Kanye West has all access to all that information. People who are into the occult and, you know, they understand into music. You know, they're exposed. You know, so they know all about the game and they're exposing it, and people don't want people to speak things that open people's minds and all that. And that's why I was speaking to this guy. If you go to, that's why Dave Chappelle went to Africa. You know, if he goes to Canada, Australia, anywhere, it's the same place. You know, I mean, they all lock you up in the same way too. You went to Africa, so so the crazy guys here. So, but it doesn't matter really. Even if you take him to the hospital, it doesn't matter if you're well. Like, you know, like you don't feel like, you know, it's like it's just lack of sleep. And if he doesn't sleep, and plus the presence, the whole thing being on stage, and you know he's a rapper, and he's not afraid to speak his mind. You know, someone who's highly enlightened is not scared of even a highly enlightened person like me now. I'm not scared of even dying. You know, like you can't control that, right? Why are you afraid? If I've already experienced life, done whatever you wanted to do, and you know had the women you liked, and you have already dated the women you liked, and you have already done this and that, and now life is just going forward. Like Kanye West, I mean, like. He's just now like a soldier. He's just, his music is soft. Don't get me wrong, his music is soft. The music of Kanye West is soft, so people are like, okay, you get the awards and this and that. Why are you talking all this nonsense? So everything is set up in the entertainment world just to keep people's interest. His album is coming out, you want the hype, and he cancels the tour. I mean, just like the word crazy is used to, if you start to think, imagine, they say crazy, you know. So high thinking and imagination and energy is not craziness. That's the spirit rising up and connecting to the source, and you're thinking and seeing the illusion, and you're breaking away from the matrix. So I encourage Kanye West to continue speaking your mind, talk your mind, and be true to yourself. You know, like, what do you got to lose? You know what I mean? We're all gonna die one day anyway. So if you don't speak your mind and just care about your legacy, you know what I mean? And he has already made it, so Kanye West has nothing to lose, right? People like Jay-Z, after they make it, then they become like this holy, you know what I mean? They can no longer speak for the people. But before that, Jay-Z was doing it. Like Tupac was a crazy guy before, right? After he died, now he's like the genius. But how did people see Tupac before the media painted him, right? So it's the same thing. So his mind is open, and this guy is very intelligent. So if you think he's dumb, then you're not. If someone is really enlightened, they will see that in Kanye West, that his mind is open and he's playing a mental game. He's exposing the system. That's why they don't like him, you know. And they want to use this crazy tag to make what he's saying not legit, and to make people not really look into what he's saying. And that's what they do in the West, you know what I mean? When people start to think and create, and so they don't really have a freedom of speech, you know. When you start to think high and talk high, people can start labeling you crazy, and then if you're in a high position, you start to talk here and there, people say, oh, he's crazy, and they may even lock you up, like for Kanye West. People even start to lock you up in a hospital, like for the case of Kanye West, you know what I mean? Because I heard he was involuntary. He should be voluntary and be treated and come out, you know. So, and they want to just push out the singers that are weak, that keep people's mind here. But if the singers and entertainers, or whoever person that is trying to really put out that knowledge that is opening people's mind to break away from the matrix, especially in the West, they talk against them, right? They put them in the crazy category and they threaten them, you know. So there's not really that much freedom. People think they have freedom. People think they have freedom of speech, you know. But nobody knows. But I'm just saying from my judgment, he's sound mind, and he's just high from lack of sleep, and he's in a confident mood, and he was able to express his mind. And after that, he may be in the hospital. He will still, from that reasoning I see, from the reasoning I see in his videos, he'll be able to talk, and the psychiatrists will be afraid to really play mind games, and they will just, you know, give him something to cool him down, and he'll be fine after that. So thank you for watching, and let me know what you feel about this. And Professor 160, I'm out.